Welcome to Dinner with Key, and tonight we have the up-and-coming legendary painter and designer Black Picasso.
I am Picasso, Black Picasso.
Thanks for coming and joining us for Dinner with Key, and I hope you guys really do have your forks and knives ready for tonight's episode because I have a treat in store for you. We will be making sweet potato waffles. I have gotten a lot of DMs. How do you make sweet potato waffles? What do you put in your sweet potato waffles? What's the process like? And I have Black Picasso here with us to make these sweet potato waffles. And he's a little nervous. First time.
Had sweet potato waffles.
So have you ever cooked before?
I've cooked, but I've cooked like ramen noodles, like chicken.
None of that. These are healthy. They do have eggs in them, but they're dairy free. So they are a little bit more on the healthy side. So first we're gonna start with the dry mix. In the dry mix, you wanna have 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. You want to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a pinch of ground nutmeg, like my grandma would say, a pinch, and ground cinnamon. Step 1/4 cup of sugar. Dry mix. Don't need the spoon, just stir it together with your hands. Once you mix it up, you're ready to move on to your wet mix. All right, Tito, this is you. Here you go. This is your part. So go ahead and pick up the soy milk. We have 1 cup of soy milk. Go ahead and pour the soy milk in there. You want to finish it off with the rest of the soy milk? Okay. Add the butter. There you go. You want to add the egg yolks. And now you're going to add the sweet potatoes. And gently put them in there so it doesn't splash everywhere. Now let's see how good you can stir. Here we are with our dinner segment of Dinner with Key with Black Picasso. So during this portion of the interview, I really want to ask you questions about where you come from, your trajectory as an artist, the name Black Picasso, your expansion to California, and your future plans moving forward.
Okay, cool.
So tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
My upbringing, I grew up with, my mom, my stepfather, they raised me. My real father wasn't really around too much, but it's a blessing that I had somebody that was around, because I know how it is. A lot of my friends and cousins grew up without fathers.
Right. And that's not something uncommon for people of color and children of color to grow up without both parents in the household. But how do you think that has shaped you as an artist?
Everything plays a role. Everything, having a father there, having somebody there, even the fact that he was a stepdad, that still even made a difference. Everything. For a kid it is very important, the stuff you're learning. Not knowing if your father is, one person, not knowing the whole situation. I felt like things were a little blurry until I got older.
Yeah. But it's a whole village, you would say, a whole village kind of raised you.
Yeah, I would say my mom and my stepfather raised me, but I'm, very close to family, so.
Great. Awesome. When you were growing up, did you know that you were getting ready to become this? I'm just going to go ahead and put it into existence. You were going to become this like legendary fashion designer and painter. Did you know when you were a kid?
I knew.
You knew?
I knew.
So like when you get shout outs on Instagram now for your work from like Erykah Badu and Drake, are you like, yeah? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew there was going to come a day.
I knew that I was going to be great for something.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that, I wanted to say something. Since a kid, I always, had something to say, Growing up, I looked up to, Martin Luther King, Huey Newton, those are the guys that I had posters on my wall of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the guys I wanted to be like, so
you would say like those revolutionary beings are a huge impact when it comes to your creative process as an artist.
Huge.
How does Martin Luther King and Huey P. Newton show up in your artwork, do you think? Like they don't necessarily have to be like there doesn't necessarily have to be a painting or a picture of Huey P. Newton and Martin Luther King, but the things that you have learned from Martin Luther King, the activism.
I feel like I'm an activist in a way, when it comes to what I'm doing because I'm teaching, I'm African American, and people are going to look at what my perspective is, especially kids that grew up in New York who see Drake wearing my jacket, or seeing Erykah Badu, they look at me as, oh, if this guy can do something, that gives me hope.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me a voice. They had a voice. They were black with a voice, and they used their voice to, uplift other, black people and speak on problems that didn't really get spoken about in the media.
Mm-hmm. You see, you growing up, having art as your outlet, and you also growing up in lower class, like, and having access to art, but still yet having access to art. Right now, it's getting harder and harder and harder for lower class Americans to have access to fine art. How do you plan on giving access to people who can't afford to go see fine arts? Like, where are you planning on staying local? Because right now, being a local artist and having other local artists tell people in their neighborhoods about your work and about your shows, that's getting the community together, bringing the community together. And what I saw at the Bloom period was that you had a very diverse group of bodies in that space. Yeah. So how do you plan on continuing this as you move up, in your career, as you expand your career with other established brands that are not, I just want to say, affordable to all,
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I feel like a lot of our, for me, a lot of the people I looked up to, like artists are artists, you see them get big and they forget about the little people, like the little people. Mm-hmm. And people ask me all the time, they're like, yo, you're not going to forget about us, right? And for me, it's, I feel like I could never because, I'm not just trying to empower me, I'm trying to empower you. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to empower the artists at the show, that's why I want to be able to give an upcoming artist the opportunity to showcase with somebody that has worked with Drake,
Right.
It makes them feel a little closer.
Right. Yeah. I remember back in 2015 or so, you had a performance. You had an event, an art show at some Austin club.
Yeah,
some club in Austin. Yeah.
No,
but what I loved about your show at the time is that it was a lot of artists of color there that you were showcasing. And before you even made sure that your paintings were sold, you always put other artists on.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, that's a generous artist. You know, like as an artist, you should be generous, you know, because what we want should be free. Like as a people, we want to feel connected to one another, and art is like the best way to do that.
That's how we make change. You know, it's not about you. You know, that's what I always feel like. It's not about just one person. It's about empowering multiple people. If you can change, you know, lives and help people, you know, realize that they have a gift and that they don't have to cop out or do something that, you know, they're pressured into doing because they have to pay a bill or something. You know, it's about enjoying life, you know, really learning, you know, really, you know, paying it forward for me.
Right.
You know, I want to give artists opportunity to believe in themselves and have a platform to show their work.
Right. So what part of California are you moving to?
I'm moving to the Bay for a year, then I'm going to live in LA for a year.
Okay. So when you're in the Bay, are you going to kind of...
Well, Oakland, the Black Panther Party originated in Oakland. That's why I'm going to the Bay.
So you're going to go to the Bay first?
Yeah, because there's a lot
of history there
for Black people around.
Yeah. So you're going there for information. How are you going to get involved?
I'm already
with
involved.
The community?
You know, like we shipping stuff out to Oakland, and we have a big, you know, fan base in Oakland and California. So basically, it's just they're waiting for us to get out there. Once I go out there, I'm putting together organizations, you know, for the youth, you know, giving kids the opportunity to showcase their work. You know, when I was a kid, I never was going to an art show and doing all this cool stuff. So I want to give that to the kids too. You know, like an outlet to create and catch it early. You know, like know that they have something early rather than after school when you graduate, or like, you know, people don't really, you know, push art the way they push a basketball player.
Right. That's true. That's so true. It's so funny because I remember having a conversation with my mom, and she didn't want me to have a job when I was in college. I mean, that's very rare. But my mom,
it's hard.
Yeah, but she's like, I worked really hard to make it easier for you, and then you're gonna work really hard to make it easier for your children, and so on and so on. So as you're like moving and growing through this world as an artist, and you are leveling up, you're also creating more platforms and more opportunities, so it's easier for the next generation.
Exactly. Because now that I'm moving to California, a lot of artists that dream of going to California can come, because I'm going to give them an art show. We're going to make sure they have a place to stay, you know, and we're going to give them the whole experience of, you know, what they wanted to do, you know.
That's
and my
beautiful.
family's never been to California, but now they will.
Wow.
It starts with, you know, I feel like sometimes you have to, you know, be the change you want to see.
That's like one of those quotes that, you know, someone may hear and be like, yeah, but it's not that easy.
It's not that
you know what I mean? So like Black Picasso, he just got it like that. Not true. Like that was a lot of work that went into this.
It was a journey. I mean, we're still working to get there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're still, you know, we're not like, you know, I feel like everything is going to be a journey. You know, everything is going to, you have to start somewhere. That's where it starts. You have to start. People don't start. People talk about starting, but you have to take initiative to fail. You have to embrace failure. You know, don't be scared of it, because that's how you get better.
Right. When you're in that space of maybe failing, you know, more than succeeding.
Yeah.
How do you get past that phase? Because it's so hard for people to not go back to what they know will work, you know? Like, then you just like, you go back to doing like social norms. You go back to like getting that regular job. You go back to, you know, because you know it's going to work. You know it's going to get the bills paid. You know what I mean? Because it's complacent. But like, how do you push past that? You know, because it's a dark space to be in. So how did you find the light in all of that?
it was just seeing everybody struggling around me. You're like, seeing, your family broke, seeing people, dying, and that if you had the right money, if you had something, you can help them. Like, it's crazy how the world works, but for me, I just use that to want to, have more for my family, the people around me. I use the negativity, and I try to, put it in my art and showcase that as something positive.
Yeah.
To help somebody else,
Right.
Like, I use, like, all the things that I've gone through, and all the things I see other people going through, as, you have to take it in as inspiration. That's why I say, negative, positive. If you feel like you're failing over and over again, maybe you should, evaluate the situation, and really figure out if that's something you love doing. Figure out, if you, why you're doing it. A lot of people don't know why they're doing something, and I feel like, you can start there too.
Beautiful. A lot of artists, a lot of radical artists, a lot of revolutionary artists, they always ask the question, why? Like, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for?
Right, what am I doing?
Who am I doing it for? Which audience or group of people do you think that your artwork speak the most to?
I hope it speaks to everybody. I'm doing art, not just to, speak to one person. It's to, I'm sharing, a piece of me, and I'm also talking about things that are going on around us. It's not about one person. It goes back to the other question. It's about, you. It's about everybody. It's about, how, another person can view, a black man's art, and they can take it as maybe as, oh, this is something that they were experiencing, 30, 40 years from now. And they look back on, a piece of mine, and it's Black Lives Matter influence. They were able to get a taste and feel of what we were going through in this time.
Yeah, Nina Simone said art should reflect the times. Thank you guys so much for watching Dinner with Key tonight with Black Picasso. Hopefully you feel inspired to push forward during your artistic journey, and you guys get your forks and knives ready for next week. I have some more food coming your way.